Good morning, everyone. Hi,
Good
Costa.
morning.
Costa, can you hear me?
Yes, Scrap Boy. I'm just making sure that I can hear you loud and clear. That's it. How are you?
Sorry, what was that, Costa? I can't hear you. No, I
Oh,
was tricking you, Costa. I can just see that you've got your favorite thing to take into the garden with you. Have you got your loudspeaker there? Oh, I'm so
I like
disappointed,
it.
Costa. No, that's better. Yeah. Happy World Environment Day, everyone, and welcome to our live stream where, I'm coming to you from Bundjalung country here in Dirt Girl World. Costa, where in the world are you?
Well, Scrap Boy, I was in the Costa yesterday, and I came down to Sydney to Camaragal country, where I was at a World Environment Day concert for Willoughby Council, and it was fantastic. Adam Axford, a magician, was there doing a show, and I was talking about lots of things that we're going to talk about today. And now I'm on Gadigal and Bidigal land here in Bondi, looking around the garden here, and it's a beautiful day, as you can see. Isn't it stunning?
It is so perfect. What a lovely day to be celebrating our precious environment. As you probably know, we're celebrating all over the world today. It is a very special day and has been since, did you know, Costa, World Environment Day has been happening since 1974. Isn't that amazing?
So that's almost 50 years.
That's pretty exciting. And we'd love to know where you're celebrating World Environment Day today. A big hello to everyone watching in Dubbo. Hello, Linda. Hello, Hannah. Where are you streaming in from today? Oh, we've got Leo in Geelong. Hello, Leo.
Oh, Googong, Scrap Boy, Googong.
Oh, it's Googong. It is too. Good morning, Danielle.
Hello, Danielle. Lovely to see you all here celebrating, and Emma's here as well. Wow, there's people coming in from everywhere, mate. Oh, and
Oh, Hannah's here on Bundjalung country as well. Good morning, Hannah. Well, this year, World Environment Day, Costa, as you and I like to share every single day, is about understanding and appreciating the fact that we're not just living in an environment, we are part of an environment because we are nature. And this year, we're going to celebrate reimagining, reinventing, and reusing to help make our planet a healthier planet for everybody in the future. Hi, Trish Lyons.
Now, I was also talking last night that actually Pakistan is the host country of World Environment Day this year. And, you know, it's interesting, Scrap Boy, isn't it? Because it's easy to forget exactly what the environment is. I mean, we may live in our house environment, and we could go to our school environment, and we go to our work environment if we're working. But all of those environments are sitting on top of the world environment. And World Environment Day's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to stop and think and say, well, if I live here, well, where do I actually live? It's not just Smith Street in Brisbane. It's, am I living near the river, or am I living close to the beach? And or am I living at the bottom of a hill that's where the creek is, or where the creek used to be, but now it's underneath a whole lot of houses, and the creek could be covered over, but it's still there. So World Environment Day is a chance for us to think about who else is in the environment too, isn't it, Scrap Boy?
Absolutely. It's not just us humans, us people. It's a big world, it's a big environment, and every single place you look in an environment, there are things from tiny little microorganisms to enormous big creatures like whales and elephants. We've had lots of people telling us where they're streaming from. And of course, we are joined by plenty of our friends in Victoria, like you, Jenny Laylaw. Now, we know that our Victorian friends are probably not out and in the natural environment, but we still wanted to acknowledge you and thank you for sharing this celebration with us and having fun from your own backyard in your naturehoods in Victoria. We're thinking about all of our friends in Victoria today, Costa.
Scrapboy, I love that word, naturehood, because that's the perfect word to use today when we talk about World Environment Day. And you know, I was last Sunday, Scrapboy. It was Botanic Gardens Day, and I was lucky enough to jump in the Costa and go to Wollongong, where the main celebration was taking place. People were going and visiting their botanic gardens everywhere, but I was in a discussion with a whole lot of different people that are involved with plants. There were scientists, there were botanists, there were writers, and so on. And one of the curators of the Auckland Botanic Gardens, all the way over in New Zealand, said a very interesting thing, and I thought I'd share it with you and all the listeners, because we often talk about the environment as flora and fauna. Now, they're not two people's names, even though Flora is a name, but
Flora is a name. Flora makes the best baklava I've ever had up in Toowoomba. Great baklava, Costa. It's true.
Okay, so the flora I'm talking about is all of this behind me. Like flora is the plants, and then fauna. Yep. Have you got a friend in Toowoomba called Fauna?
No, I don't know. I don't. I know someone called Shauna, but not Fauna.
So normally we've looked at the environment as flora and fauna, the plants and the animals. And when you think about the plants and the animals, you start to then think about, well, what comes first when people say, oh, the chicken or the egg? And do the plants come before the animals? And yes, that's true. But the thing, because the animals need the plants, not only for their environment of a home, but also to eat. But this was the interesting thing that I wanted to share, Scrapboy, that the botanist over in Auckland said that for too long, for right up to this point in time, we've only looked at our environment as flora and fauna. And they actually said there's one more to add, and that's funga, or the fungi, and all the life forms that are living in the soil. Because if we don't have them, we don't have the flora, and then if we don't have the flora, we don't have the fauna. And actually, we are fauna. We are animals as well. So that's a nice thing that I wanted to share today, that for World Environment Day, we need to think about not only what's above the ground, but we need to think about what's below the ground as well.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you brought that up. In this handful of beautiful decomposing leaf litter here in the forest in Bunjalung, there's all manner of things. And Costa, did you know, I know you probably have worked this out already, in just this handful of beautiful soil, which isn't technically flora or fauna, there are more living organisms than there are people on Earth. Isn't that extraordinary? You can't see them, but they're in here. Just remarkable. Beautiful soil.
Yeah, and isn't it great, Scrapboy, that as girls and boys and mums and dads watching this at home, what you said then is probably from the point of view of the theme of this year's World Environment Day, we can help every single day by building soil. And the way we can build soil is to compost and to separate our food scraps. And that way we make and replenish what you are holding in your hand then. So it's like we refuel the funga we refuel the soil so that it fuels the plants, and then the plants bring and provide for the insects, and then the insects provide food for the small marsupials and for the birds, and then the smaller birds are food for the larger animals, and then we start to see the cycles and how nature is such a beautiful loop, this wonderful closed loop, and then we can sort of think on World Environment Day, because that's what World Environment Day is. It's a chance to stop and think, where can we participate, isn't it?
Absolutely, Costa. I want to give a big shout out to everyone who shared where they're listening and watching from today. We've got friends in New Mexico, friends in California on the other side of the world. We've got plenty of friends in Ipswich, the Sunshine Coast, down on Bundjalung country, people streaming from all over Victoria and as far as down in Tasmania, high Kylie waters. Oh, wow. So,
I just saw that John... I just saw that John was turning his compost yesterday. Oh, that is a celebration. That is a reason to gather and call your name to the hills, John. Yes, turn that compost. Turn it, John.
Hi, Joy. Costa, you're so right. The thing that we forget is that we are so connected to the natural world. Sometimes I feel we just need to stop and listen and open our hearts and open our eyes and our ears to help our environment. Really, all we need to do is often do less. For example, what I showed everyone before, this is actually compost, really, isn't it? It's nature's compost. And as you said, Costa, the biggest thing that we can do this year to help to reinvigorate and regenerate our ecosystems and our environment is to get our food scraps out of the waste cycle and put them back in to the earth, into soil. And that happens all around us. It literally happens in every forest. It happens under every tree. It's a natural process, and it's something that's really easy for us to do at home, which, by the way, Costa, I wanted to share with everyone a little something I brought, maybe a special guest. Could we have a special guest? Do we want a special guest?
Yeah, bring a special guest, Scrapboy.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Special guest. The Compost Bucket! So, no, the special guest is actually Dirt Girl. Dirt Girl's here with us.
Hello, Dirt Girl.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
How are
seriously,
you?
Dirt Girl's on a secret mission today, but she did lend me her compost caddy. This is one of the most powerful tools in helping to make a healthier environment. Am I right?
You are 1000% correct.
This is it. So I'm really happy that we've got these in Dirt Girl World, but of course you don't necessarily need this sort of compost caddy. If you want to get your food scraps out of the waste cycle, it's all about playing how icky can you go, how icky can you get, and pulling food scraps out of your refrigerator, not throwing out your food scraps after you've eaten dinner or cooked, and taking all of those, popping them in a bucket or a bowl, and then straight into the compost heap.
You know, Scrapboy, I just give a little call out there. Hello, Jessica, over with Mum in Lane Cove. Scrapboy was...
Hi, Jessica.
Was just saying how valuable that bucket is. And, you know, Scrapboy, I'm thinking the important thing about the bucket is that when you separate the food scraps and they're not in the bin, then the bin doesn't get smelly. And that means you can open the lid and then you can look in there and separate all those other things without them unnecessarily going to landfill. And like nature, when we do the separation further up the valley, so it's like a valley. And if things get into the water at the top of the valley, it's very difficult to get them out of the water. And then they run all the way to the ocean through the creeks and then the river and then out to the ocean. And then it causes damage to the ocean and the creek. But if you don't put it in up the valley, well, then it doesn't end up down there where people have to try and get it out of the ocean. And it's the same with our food scraps. if we
Yep.
get them out at the top of the system, which is our kitchen, then our next step is to make sure that no other contaminants get in there. So we don't put any plastic in there. We don't put any of the things that can't compost in there. And then when we do that, what that means, and this is the bit that I get most excited about, we get what you were holding in your hand not long ago, Scrapboy. Pure, clean, rich soil. And that then ties in to the whole picture of the environment, because the soil grows the plants, and the plants provide the oxygen for us to breathe. So that's all about the air. But then the other thing, Scrapboy, about that soil is that it's a filter. So it's a bit like that bucket, because it takes everything out of the water, cleans the water, so it goes back to the ocean and to the creeks nice and clean. So it's the air and the water and then the soil. So that's everything about World Environment Day in your bucket. Now, the only question mark I have for you, Scrapboy, you haven't looked in the bucket. Do you think Dirt Girl could be in the bucket?
Let me have a look. No, Dirt Girl is not in there, but there is a banana peel. It looks to be a Nibbles pancake, and there's also an avocado pip. Not Dirt Girl. I don't think her secret mission would be to get into the compost bucket. She might be in the compost heap though. Now we had a question from one of our live streamers. If you don't have a garden at your place, what can you do with your compost? Well, I can tell everyone this. I don't think it's a trade secret that I know about 100 people who would swap just about anything for compost from your place. So depending on where you are, I would probably have a look around your neighborhood and find out who does have a veggie garden. And the chances are they'll probably be happy to swap you something edible for something edible for their garden. I reckon people would love to take your compost off your hands for you. That was a question from Rachel Brook.
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly, Scrapboy. Like I know people. It reminds me of the wonderful project called Share Waste, where you can jump onto their website and you can say, okay, what am I, or who am I? Am I a composter, or am I a compost scrap provider? And in that case, Rachel is a host. So she would be what we call a compost host. People can bring scraps to her. And then Rachel's got the opportunity to say, find a gardener in her street, or better still, go to the community garden and say, all right, once every couple of months when my compost is cooked and ready, I am going to deliver, and I'm going to place it on the compost trolley. And then I can see Rachel crossing the suburb to her friend's place or to the community garden and taking all that compost and keeping it local. And you know, Rachel, the other good thing about what you're doing is that doesn't require any transport. It's all local. And the only movement is just with human hands, not trucks and bulldozers and anything like that. So well done to you, Rachel. You're a compost cousin.
And Clancy Mackenzie Costa has just shared that they're a member of Share Waste. So go, Clancy. Nice work leading the war against waste. So I'm actually really glad that we brought up what people can do to help to make a healthy environment. Did you know, Costa, we've got a bit of a podcast available that people can listen to. The ABC Kids Listen app. There's the World Environment Day special that Dirt Girl put together. I think it's available. We might be able to share the link to that now. Here it is. It's on the screen. We've got the Kids Listen app. It's at abc.net.au/Kids Listen /the environment is all around us. And then a little number. So you can copy that down and you can go and check out that awesome conversation with Dirt Girl on what World Environment is all about. And I just wanted to share, Costa, you talked about the soil and helping to get nutrients back into the soil to grow food for us. It's actually the soil and the environment is everything. We have 3 things that we cannot live without. One of them is is obviously food, air, and water. And the environment produces all of those things. Like you said, Costa, the soil is filtering, it's helping to produce nutrients into our food. But literally, everything that we need to survive comes from our environment, from our ecosystems, our food, our water, and our air. And the other thing that blows my mind, literally blows my mind, is that the water, like the water over there in the creek, and the water that I've got right here in my drink bottle, this water is the same water that has been on planet Earth for literally tens of millions of years. And that's why it's so precious, Costa. If we contaminate it, there's less. We don't really get more water. It's the same water. It's the water cycle. There's precipitation, evaporation, precipitation, evaporation. But this stuff, it's so precious to so many of the ecosystems around us. Even the deserts rely on this stuff.
And, you know, you said an interesting thing there, Scrapboy, about the water being in a cycle. And what I love to think about, and girls and boys at home and mums and dads, I always think about if you were a raindrop and you fell if you fell from the sky, it makes you think, well, everything about nature wants to slow that water down. So it hits the leaves of the trees, and then it goes from one leaf to another, and then it might slowly make its way down the trunk, and then it makes its way into the soil, and it may be contained in the soil for however many days or weeks before then the roots take it up, and then the plant uses it and then may transpire it, and it goes back out into the atmosphere until it gets collected and comes back down. Or it may go into a creek and then run along the creek, and then it could be swallowed by a fish, and the fish could have that little droplet inside it for a little while, and then it could go and come out with the fish poop, and then that fish poop could end up at the bottom of the creek, and then that's a nutrient that when the creek flushes goes out onto the floodplain and goes onto the soil, and then you might go down into the soil again, and a little microbe might transfer you to the root of a piece of grass, and then you might be in that leaf for a while. So imagine, wouldn't it be great if you could be a raindrop and just go through a few cycles and see whether it took you, because you might end up going right down into an aquifer, like a big lake under the ground, and you could be there for 1,000 years. And I'm going, I'll be by my phone. I'll be going, Scrapboy, where are you? Because I can't get out of the aquifer. I have to wait until I move all the way from far north Queensland through central Australia, and then suddenly I come up through a spring somewhere. So yeah, I like that idea that
Costa, the other thing about water that we have to remember is that people are mostly made up of bacteria and water. So if you turn into a droplet of water for a day, imagine if you didn't end up in the aquifer and I ended up inside you, Costa, and you were on the tin can phone going, Scrapboy, where are you? And you could hear me, but you couldn't find me because I was actually a part of you. That's how important water is. So, Costa, I can see on the screen, people are crying out for a song. The question, though, that I want to leave with everyone before we throw to some music is I want to know what your favorite ecosystem is, or what your favorite thing in nature is. We all have somewhere different we love to be. Dirk, for example, loves hanging out in her garden. We know, Costa, you love taking the Costavator all over the place. What we want to know is where you love to hang out in your backyard. What naturehood do you love hanging out in? Here's a song. It's one of our favorites, performed by two of our good friends, Cameron McKenzie and Mark Seymour. When we're back, we want to hear your favorite places in nature.
Whew. Okay, are we on tape now, Cameron?
We're going. We're joining you at the Sustainable Living Festival, and friends of Dirt Girl and Scrapboy and Costa the Gnome.
Cameron McKenzie.
Mr. Mark Seymour, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi there, everyone. Kids.
Singing one of his favourite songs from the Dirt Girl catalogue. We sing this before we go on stage usually.
Yeah, just to warm up.
Just to warm up.
Hanging in the backyard.
Hanging in the backyard.
Hanging in the backyard, doing nothing too hard. We don't have to go far. Hanging in the backyard. What more could I want? What more could I need? There's nothing we lack. It's precious indeed. It's all I could want. It's all I could need. Just sit back and let nature lead. Hanging in the backyard, doing nothing too hard. We don't have to go far. Hanging in the backyard. I follow my heart, I do what I like. We go where we want, like on a small hike. We make what we want. We do what we please. We play until the sun goes below the trees. Hanging in the backyard, doing nothing too hard. We don't have to go far. Hanging in the backyard. Cameron, go! When it gets dark, we're ready for bed, and all the nightlife takes over instead. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah. Hanging in the backyard, doing nothing too hard. We don't have to go far. Hanging in the backyard. Hanging in the backyard, doing nothing too hard. We don't have to go far. Hanging in the backyard.
Sustainable Living Festival.
How cool, Mark Seymour, Cameron McKenzie, absolutely shredding it for us today on World Environment Day. So, where is your favourite place in the environment to hang out? Which backyard do you love to hang out in most? I actually have a bit of a secret to share with everyone. My favourite part of the environment generally involves water. You might know that about me. Costa, you look like you've just jumped in the Costa and been somewhere. Have you just shot to somewhere in the song, somewhere different?
You spotted me, Scrapboy. I was actually, I must have used a lot of battery power on my phone during the trip last night, and I just realised I had to run and find a battery, and I think I clipped some trees on the way back, and made my hat look a bit off center. But anyway, how's that look?
Oh, look, that looks good. And if anyone can hear that little pedaling sound off screen, I believe Costa has Vera the chicken on a tricycle generator off screen, powering up the battery Costa's device so that he can be on this live stream. So let's hear it for all the chickens out there, especially Vera, for working hard on World Environment Day. Good on you, Vera.
Thank
So, Costa, while you were just ducking off, people are starting to share what their favourite thing in nature is, where their favourite part of their naturehood is to go. Lots of people saying they love hanging out in their community garden. Lots of people saying they love going to the environment centres. What's your favourite place to visit or hang out in our beautiful environment, Costa? Do you have one that you could share?
Well, look, first of all, every morning, I think my happiest place is when I come downstairs and welcome the morning to my chickens, wherever. Are you talking to them, Scrapboy? I love. Um, um, yeah. So that's probably like, well, really, in my backyard is, and in our backyard, I think that's the place where we have the best fun, and you really write a lovely story in your backyard, because all the people that are talking about, like here we have Wallace talking about, I love hanging with the goats while turning weeds into the compost. Like, because when you're out hanging in the backyard, it's time that you can spend together, but then, you do connect with your chickens and you do connect with your compost, because you want to come out and check on it every day or every week. I've got my nature pond, so when the pond is a chance to look at what the water life is doing, and how just before I noticed a kookaburra came, because as I came running back, there was ripples on the water, and I saw sitting on the fence was a kookaburra. And so that's our chance to actually not just connect with the local environment, but to influence and be part of it. And that's what I really like.
Costa, I don't mean to take your words and turn it into sounds, but it is World Environment Day, and we are talking about connecting with the environment, and we've just spoken about goats, chickens, and kookaburras. So I thought I would share with everyone. I think it might have been Haley, saying I did a good chicken impersonation. So I just wanted to show everyone my goat impersonation. Well, is that okay? Can we just take a moment to... And I've also got a kookaburra for you. Did everyone like the goat? Okay, here's a kookaburra. I wanted to share, Costa. Sorry, I know it's World Environment Day, but I think there's no better time than to do animal impersonation on a live stream than on World Environment Day.
Scrap Boy, I closed my eyes and I thought they were right there with me. They are some of the best impressions I've ever heard. Can I make a request?
Yes, please. Does anyone want me to try an impersonation? Please feel free to throw it up on the screen now.
Yeah,
this could go very badly.
Clancy reckons your kookaburra was impressive. I agree, Clancy. Scrap Boy, what about a frog?
A tricky one. What species particularly, and what part of the year? Also, which no, that's a very cow. I can do a cow. Okay, everyone, close your eyes. Imagine. Oh, Costa, I think your Costa cow is a better cow. Anything? Can everyone hear that? There's an actual kookaburra replying to me.
A turkey. Come on, turkey, Scrap Boy.
Okay, I've got a bunny. Do bunnies even make a noise? I'm not sure. I've never. Someone was after a horse. I can do a good horse. Moo! Moo! I think that's a moose. I've never met a moose.
Yeah,
I think Scott's trying to sit us up with the moose. This is a duck. Oh, goose. Duck, 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 goose. That is a great game. I love duck, duck, goose. Hi, Faye. No wonder you love Dirt Girl World with so many fun animal impersonations. Yes, I think we have got a little bit mad. So let's get back on track. Sorry, everyone. Oh, Bunny is Skippy Incognito. Exactly. Exactly. Does everyone remember Skippy? Happy World Environment Day, Annie Casson. No, seriously, animal impersonations aside, impersonating our environment is a great thing that you can do to help to create a healthier environment, because our environment does everything right. All we need to do is look around us. We talked about it earlier. Composting, beautiful soil like this. If we want to impersonate composting, all we need to do is look under a tree. I want to know, though, what is everyone doing today to help to celebrate World Environment Day? Do you have a project this weekend that you're working on? I can go first if people want to know what my plan is. In fact, I'm glad we kind of segued there. We sort of segued there with the horse impersonation. So as everyone knows, Dirt Girl is on a secret mission today, and I don't know where she is, nor do I know when she's going to be back. So I've got a narrow window of opportunity to prepare a garden surprise for Dirt Girl. So there are two things I'm doing today, and this is a tip. The first thing's got something to do with this, Costa.
Oh, no.
Any ideas? Can you guess?
I think you're getting some horse poo.
Yes.
Horse manure, and you're going to compost it.
Correct. I actually have done an awesome swap for some pony poop, and I'm going to gift that to Dirt Girl. I know what you're thinking, but she's actually going to love that. That is a gift for Dirt Girl. And there is one other project, Costa, that I am working on this weekend to celebrate World Environment Day, and it's about rethinking and reusing. And I'm just going to grab it. Okay. So this is my other project for World Environment Day. You know what that is?
It is a fork handle, and it's a fork that needs a new handle. So you're going to repair it. Correct,
Costa. So I actually picked this up at the tip shop, and somebody thought it was ready for the scrap metal pile, and I saw it and I went, you know what? That is going to be the perfect gift for Dirt Girl for World Environment Day. So it's a rusty old garden fork, and I'm going to plan to give it a scrape back, get all this rust off it, soak it in a vinegar bath, because the vinegar will help to strip off all of this rust. And then I'm going to give it a lovely oil with some natural vegetable oil. And then I'm also going to make a new handle for it. And then that there is my gift to Dirt Girl to celebrate World Environment Day. What do you reckon, Costa? Will she like that?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, Scrap Boy. We had a comment there that I lost who it was, but they're composting. Here we are, Rachel. Thank you. Rachel Weaver is composting the leaves from our neighbour's oak tree. There are so many. There's a good little project, girls and boys, is when you see a deciduous tree. Now, the difference between a deciduous tree and an evergreen tree is that a deciduous tree drops its leaves like an oak tree. And as Rachel said, there's so many. And if you look up, if you get underneath and look up, it's incredible, because every single one of those leaves is going to come down to the ground, and they're free. And you can do a few things. You can store them. Here's a couple of ideas. You can store them in a couple of bins, store them dry. So then you've got the brown material to put into your compost bin each week when you need them. Or the other thing you can do is what's called a leaf mold pile. And you could get some wire, some fencing wire. See, I've got it just here. I'll show you. You can see it here in. Maybe you can't. It's a bit hard. Anyway, you can make a circle like a cage, and you put all the leaves into that pile. And if you like, you can throw a little bit of some chicken pellets in there, or some chicken poo, or a little bit of manure in as you go, and just leave them in a pile over the winter and spring. And usually, I see
what you did there, Costa. You can leaf them in a pile.
Saturday morning, you slept well last night, Scrap Boy, because you're ahead of me. That is, yes. So you can leaf them in a pile, and then they will break down over 6 to 12 months, and you will get another form of compost that's called leaf mold. And that is incredible. That is like another sponge. And you can put that out under your mulch in the garden and around your plants, and they will do a dance for you. So yeah, think about all those leaves. You can go and get them. They're free, and you just make a pile, or you can make a few piles of leaf mold and just leave them up the back of the yard in a place where, you know, it's out of the way, it doesn't matter, and it's making compost while you're doing other things for the next 6 months.
Hey, Costa, I've got a little surprise for you.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready,
I'm ready.
Costa? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
The Grubby Bucket!
Make a selection, Scrap Boy. Make a selection.
Exactly. It's time to go. Here we go. What can we find in the Grubby Bucket? Whoop. Okay. Here we are.
I can't reach.
I think this might be one that Dirt Girl set up for us. I think this is her suggestion for people who are looking for a way to celebrate World Environment Day, and it is go on a nature walkabout. The Grubby Bucket! So wherever you are in the world today, if you didn't have a particular plan, then maybe you could use Dirt Girl's suggestion from the Grubby Bucket, which is to go on a nature walkabout. Because when we connect to something like the environment, once we start to understand it, that's when we're going to choose to make powerful actions to help protect and create a healthier planet for the future. Hey, Costa, do you reckon it's time for some more music? What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's always time for music, and Bruce Straw, native but are music to my ears. So, Scrap Boy, let's dedicate this next tune to all the native bees out there in our naturehoods.
Awesome. Enjoy some music.
Dream of little things making a difference. I think of little changes I could make. I can't do very much about indifference. The big people know of all the science. Reports of our planet are all in. It's time to just let go of our reliance. The best way to start is
Wow! Jeff Lang! I had no idea we had such big stars on the show. Costa, are you there, Costa?
Scrap Boy, I'm here. Not
Scrap Boy?
sorry.
I have no
Sorry,
idea where he is.
Sorry.
I was walking past and I saw there was a live stream and I heard Jeff Lang on the slide guitar doing What's It Gonna Take? It's one of my favorite songs. Anyway, I just thought I'd say hi. Is who's here? Who's on the live stream?
Well, I'm here. I'm here, Grubby.
Hi,
you hear me?
Costa. Yeah, I can hear you. Happy World Environment Day.
Thank you. You know, I was listening to that song that Ken was singing, and what's it going to take? What do you think it's going to take?
Oh, I think it's going to take everybody doing something little will make a huge difference.
That's exactly it, because it's not about taking on the whole world, because that's too big a task. It's about, I think what I take away from that song is, if we just do, as you say, small things, then we can change the world around us. And that's the most important thing that we could do.
Yes, it's me, Grubby. Grubby,
It
I
is
was
Grubby.
pretending to be Ken. I was trying to trick you all. Surprise!
You are too tricky on a Saturday morning. Oops. Little things.
Okay, I've got to go. See you later, everybody. Bye!
Now, it's very true what Grubby was saying. Little things do make a big difference. And as so many of you have said, you know, you start to take the scraps from someone else and make compost. That gives you a chance to make a difference in your street, and then your naturehood, your neighborhood. And if you make a difference, then other people will see what you're doing. And it's as simple, even a simple thing as not using single use. And whether that's a single use bottle, whether that's a single use cup. You think about how many people use single use cups every day to have a coffee and just literally drink it down in 1 minute and then throw it out. And it's not about saying, oh, well, I'll feel good by recycling that. We need to go further back up the valley, like we were talking about earlier, and say, well, why make it to be single use? Why not just use something that can be used over and over again? And that just requires a bit of a habit change. So when we make small changes to our habits, they make a massive difference. So what's this? It's going to take place, people sharing their gifts. Yeah, that's right, Eric. We can share. And I think the share economy, the share space is the most valuable thing we can do, because then we don't need to buy so many things. And if we don't buy so many things, we don't need to make so many things for them to just not be used properly. And Scrapboy, you are the master when it comes to not just buying new things, repairing and reusing and repurposing and refitting and regenerating old things.
Costa, I see where you're going with that. The 3 R's. I really don't think I can express my passion for recycling, reusing, and reducing in any other way than in song, Costa. So I'm sorry, but this is coming at you.
I'm ready for another song.
Look at all the things we use. There's bound to be some we could lose. A single sock, a pair of shoes. Step 1 of the eco hold down. Reduce.
Reduce.
Use less stuff. Use less stuff. It's okay to use less stuff. Use less stuff. Use less stuff. Step 1 of the eco hold down. Check out all the stuff we throw, 'cause maybe it's of use, you know. Some things deserve another go. Step 2 of the eco hold down. Reuse.
Reuse.
Use it again. Use it again. It's got another use, then use it again. Use it again. Use it again. Step 2 of the eco hold down. There's one solution I have found that keeps things going around and round. It sure beats dumping underground. Step 3 of the eco hold down. Recycle. Round and round, round and round. Let your stuff go round and round, round and round, round and round. Step 3 of the eco hold down. Round and round, round and round, round and round and round.
And round.
Let's recap on what we know. To use less stuff's the way to go. So what to keep and what to throw. Step 4 of the eco hold down. The bin. Stick it in 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 the bin. Bin. Grab your waste and do a spin. Back the other way and stick it in the
Ah,
Told you, Costa.
yeah. Scrap boy,
Yeah.
you were shredding it.
Thanks, Costa. Thank you so
Well,
much. So,
whew, I
just
was
a
dead.
quick shout out. Were you doing the garden gnome dance? Stick it in the bin, stick it in the bin, stick it in the bin. Grab your waist and do a spin the other way and stick it in the bin. I'm with you though, Costa. It is such a fun thing to do, handling our rubbish with care. And I like to play the rubbish game all the time. Basically, I like to use as little as possible, obviously, reusing stuff like cups and having no single use plastics is a great way to start, but then minimizing the amount of stuff that actually goes into landfill. As you know, in Dirt Girl World, everyone probably knows this already, we hardly throw anything into landfill at all. Most of the stuff that we use either gets composted or gets reused or repurposed. It's just the best way to have a bit of fun with our waste. It's good fun. I just thought we'd do a quick shout out about our new blog, everyone. We've dropped a new blog today. If you want to read the blog, you can head over to dirtgirlworld.com. We'll get the details up on the screen right now. It's the Happy World Environment Day blog for 2021. It's fresh off the press. So click on that link, head over to dirtgirlworld.com/blog/happy world environment day 2021, and you can check out our latest blog. So Costa, handling rubbish with care. You know how we wrote that song recently?
Oh, yes, I love this song.
Handle with care, handle with care. Well, that song, we've actually not recorded it, and we don't have a music video like the one for Eco Hoedown or Happy Song or anything like that. So why don't we challenge everyone now, sort of like a grubby bucket challenge, except really you're doing us a favor because we don't have a music video for it. Costa, what do you reckon we get all of our friends all over the world to send us little video clips of them handling rubbish with care that we could basically cut up to use for the music video for our song, the recent song that people have probably only heard if they were listening on the Sustainable Living Festival stream, the Handle with Care song. What do you reckon, Costa?
Well, I like the idea, Scrap Boy, because then everyone's a part of it. So it's a bit like crowdsourcing our video. And that way, even though we can't get everyone together in one place, we can stitch them together by editing it. So I love it.
Yeah, cool. So you'll be basically making little videos of you handling rubbish care to this song. I'll play you a little bit now. Handle with care, handle with care. It's just one way we've got. We can show the whole world that we care. Handle with care, handle with care. If we treat rubbish right every day, every night, then we care. All rubbish is different. All our waste is not the same. Some people say it makes no difference. I like to play the rubbish game. Handle with care, handle with care. It's just one way we've got. We can show the whole world that we care. Handle with care. It's a message we share. If we treat rubbish right every day, every night, then we care. One bin for all of recycling stuff, like plastic bottles and cards. One bin for all your organic stuff. Sorting our rubbish isn't hard. Sing it with me, Costa. Handle with care. Handle with care. If If we treat rubbish right every day, every night, then we care. Handle with care. It's a message we share. If we treat rubbish right every day, every night, then we care. So that's the kind of the song that we're going to have you performing to with your little videos of handling rubbish with care. I hope I did all right. I'm really only just learning the ukulele.
Scrapboy, can I say, I think you did a wonderful job on the uke.
Oh, thanks. So
Sounded
if
good.
you wanted to help us make that video clip, you can do a couple of things. You can star in a Handle with Care video by jumping onto the Dirt Girl World website, and you can email us your Dropbox link. You can email it to me, scrapboy@dirtgirlworld.com. So that's a great way of doing it. Or you can pop it up on to any of the social media platforms, and you can literally hashtag Dirt Girl World or hashtag Handle with Care. And there is a bit of a cutoff because we are going to record the song pretty soon. So I think it's the 12th of June. You have a week to get out there into your naturehood and handle your rubbish with care and make some little clips to send to us.
7 days, that's plenty of time.
7 days.
I'm gonna it'll only take you a couple of minutes to show you or whoever you like handling their rubbish with care. What a great idea. I'm looking forward to seeing what people send in, Scrapboy.
Oh, that's a really good point. Please don't send any of your videos directly to our email, because in the Girl World, we've only got like a tiny little internet connection. If you can send it via tin can phone, you can come direct. But if you don't have tin can phone connection at your place, please only send us a link to our Dropbox link, or you can tag it on your social media. So if you wanted to send it to scrapboy@dirtgirlworld.com, you can do that, but make sure you just send the link, not the actual video clip, because we won't be able to download it. Are you gonna?
Boy.
Okay. So as everyone knows, it's all about reimagining, recreating, and restoring our precious ecosystems this year. I reckon we've probably got time. Should we have some more music? What's everyone's feel on World Environment Day? Are we ready to get out into our naturehoods and celebrate, or should we stick around a little bit longer and share some more music? What does everyone feel like? Let us know.
Tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think. Should we have some more music, or should we?
One more song.
One more song. I reckon we could probably keep going. Have you got anywhere to be? Does the Costa need to be moved, or is it under control? What do you reckon?
No, I parked in a. I didn't park in a no Costa zone. So,
Parking spot.
If there's any other questions that anyone has, throw us a couple of questions, and then we can have another song, and I think that would be fantastic.
Okay, awesome, Costa. So, what should we take questions on? Anything at all, actually. World Environment Day questions. Hit us up right now if you've got a question or you'd like to share. One more song. Everyone's saying one more song, Costa. One more song. One more song. One more song. One more song.
That's great. Thanks, Danielle. We'll definitely dig up one more song. If there's any questions about how you feel about World Environment Day and things that you're doing. I know lots of people. I look forward to going back and having a look over some of the comments that we haven't been able to look at because they were rolling very fast earlier, Scrapboy.
Yeah, it has been a wild stream. So many people have been commenting and sharing with us, which we absolutely love. I'm with you, Costa. Can't wait to go back over it and read some of those fantastic comments.
I suppose, Scrapboy, it's one of those things when a day like today is just, it's really just a celebration. It's a big day that we can sort of mark in the calendar, but really I think there's lots of things that we're doing every day that we mightn't really think about. And that's good when things become a habit. But I think it's also nice to think, well, actually, I'm doing something every day as part of World Environment Day.
Yeah, and it really is the little things that do make a big difference. Like Grubby impersonating Ken the Weevil was trying to tell us before, little things, doesn't matter what it is, one little thing, if every single person on this beautiful planet of ours did one little thing, it would make such a big difference. So maybe you can make a declaration today. Maybe you could write a manifesto for your household or your community that declares what you're going to do to make a big difference. It might be committing to recycling soft plastics, for example. They're really easy to recycle. So many people just throw those into the landfill, but they don't need to go there. You can keep your soft plastics. You can take them to the supermarkets. You can recycle those. Maybe you're going to commit to using a compost caddy and composting. Maybe you're going to commit to not using a car or a bus. Maybe you're going to walk or cycle to work. That's going to help. Maybe you're just going to grow something in your backyard. There's been a lot of conversation recently, Costa, about pulling carbon out of the environment by growing things. It's really a simple way of reversing the environmental damage that humans and industry and transport and energy has created by sequestering carbon back out of the environment. All we need to do is plant more plants, because they literally take the carbon that's floating around in the ecosystem and they put it back into the ground. Carbon in the ground is actually really important. It's part of composting. It's part of creating healthier soil, which in turn puts nutrients and bioorganisms and microbes and fungi into the soil that helps to grow more food. So really, it's all about a cycle. I reckon we should cross back to Jeff Lang. Sorry that we couldn't hear his beautiful version of What's It Gonna Take, but maybe we can stream this time without interruption because of our tiny little bandwidth in Dirt Girl world. We're going to try again. Jeff Lang, our beautiful friend, sharing his version of Dirt Girl's song, What's It Gonna Take. I hope you enjoy this.
Dream of little things making a difference. I think of little changes I could make. I can't do very much about indifference. The big people know of all the science. Reports of our planet are all in. It's time to just let go of our reliance. The best way to start is to begin. It's natural.
Oh no! It's dropped out again. Thank you, Jeff Lang, for trying. Jeff's in Victoria, and maybe the lockdown has locked down the live streaming from Jeff Lang's backyard, but it was a beautiful couple of bars of that beautiful song, What's It Gonna Take? Costa, what is it gonna take to help for this year for World Environment Day? It's not much, is it? It's just a little thing. Everyone needs to do a little thing.
Yeah, and I think the thing to think about is, and in that song, it captures it for me. We can't be put off by indifference. We can't be thrown off our own heart, our own course. And if we remember that people are watching us all the time as neighbors, as parents, as brothers, as sisters, as work colleagues, people watch what we do. And if we want to really make a difference, just doing things as habits and making new habits and doing them whether someone's watching or not. There always is someone watching, and we're influencing all the time. And I think our capacity to declare we care, we're declaring we care through those habits, and that's what gives me a lot of hope, because every day we have a chance to declare we care in front of children and neighbors and friends, and we don't have to scream and shout. We can just do it, and when we just do things, they're observed, and I think that's the most powerful part of any message for World Environment Day. Is it's not just today. We're not going to change everything in one day, but we change lots of things every day, little things every day, and that goes right back to country and understanding and reconciling with our country and with the actions that we take. So, reconciliation. It was Reconciliation Week last week, and I think when you think about Reconciliation Week, and when you think about our environment and the history that our environment has embedded within it, well, then we can look at reconciliation and say, well, it's really all about reconciliation, and those actions that we take every day for our environment are statements that we care. So yeah, I always feel energized about days such as today, because it gives us a chance to chart little courses and to pick new things that we could apply and have a go at adjusting and adapting and changing. And I'm really positive about what's going on with our next generation, and I think we all can be a part of it, and we can be a part of it every day.
So true, Costa. Taking that pledge and making that commitment to little change, and recognizing that, the country that we're on, wherever we are in the world, we're not the first people to walk there. We're not the first people to live there. Traditional custodians of the countries and the country that we live on have been protecting our environment and living as nature, in nature, for millennia. And that's what we need to do too. It's about reconnecting, understanding what part we play in our naturehood and in the nature of our ecosystems, and making changes. And Costa, reconciliation, it's the truth. Action is change, and change isn't always easy, is it? I mean, we experience change all the time. We were speaking about leaves falling, how we can use that part of nature to help to create a healthier environment. Change is something we experience every day, whether it's the change in the time of day, whether it's the change in the garden, watching plants grow. In ourselves, we change. Our hair grows, we grow, our feelings change. We experience change all the time. And as we know from the last couple of months, there's some really big changes in the world at the moment. And it's completely natural to feel a sense of uncertainty. That's part of change. But when we embrace that and we open our hearts to change, anything is possible. And that's something that I love about World Environment Day. It's understanding that if we step 2 feet first straight into change together, and we're with each other, we support one another, and we all share support, we can seriously have some impact for positive change for our environment.
Well said, Scrapboy. I couldn't agree more. And it keeps it. I think the most important part about what you said there is that it's not only keeping it positive, but it's keeping it close to the things that you can achieve, rather than being unrealistic. The more things that are ticking over, the more it generates momentum in those around you, and then it just becomes a real domino effect. And and then everyone gets involved, and our capacity to influence should always remain like centered, I think, and that way we're not worrying too much about what's about others. The more we focus on ourselves and being an example, then the more that will affect others without having to tell them.
See you later, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, Grubby. Thank you to everyone for joining us on our World Environment Day. Another little cameo there from Grubby the Grub. Have a happy World Environment Day. Look, there's so much that we've shared today. We'd love to stay in touch, get out into nature, do something special for World Environment Day, and remember that little change can make a big difference. Dance, sing, celebrate with us. Thanks, everyone. We're going to leave you with one more song. This one's called
Yes!
Change, and it's about embracing change and celebrating the little things in our environment.
One more
We'll
song.
see you soon on another stream. Costa, have a great day. Travel safely in the Costa Vader. Thank you, everyone from all over the world, wherever you've streamed from, to be with us today on World Environment Day. Big love for you. Big love for our environment. Here is change. See you later,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.